Research is hard, but your tools should not be. Subthesis.com is the free alternative to expensive software. Whether you need to calculate Cronbach's alpha or organize your field notes, Subthesis has a tool for it. No paywalls and no registration required. Check the link in the description and let's dive into today's lesson. Welcome to this comprehensive exploration of note-taking systems designed specifically for graduate students. The way you capture, organize, and retrieve information will fundamentally shape your success in graduate school and beyond. Unlike undergraduate education, where note-taking often focused on recording lecture content for exams, graduate-level note-taking serves a much broader purpose. You are now building a personal knowledge base that will support your research, inform your professional practice, and potentially span decades of your career. Today, we will explore proven methodologies, cutting-edge digital tools, and practical strategies for developing a note-taking system that grows with you throughout your academic journey and professional life. By the end of this session, you will be equipped with practical knowledge across 4 key areas. First, you will understand multiple note-taking methodologies and be able to evaluate which approaches work best for different aspects of graduate work, from lectures to reading to research. Second, you will learn how to implement structured systems that support not just immediate recall but long-term retention and efficient retrieval of information when you need it months or years later. Third, we will explore how to integrate digital and analog tools in ways that leverage the strengths of each medium. Finally, you will develop the foundation for a personalized note-taking practice that aligns with your learning style, research area, and professional goals. Let us begin by understanding why graduate-level note-taking requires a fundamentally different approach. Graduate school presents unique note-taking challenges that demand sophisticated solutions. Consider the sheer volume of information you will encounter. A doctoral student might read hundreds or even thousands of articles over the course of their program, plus books, conference papers, and primary sources. Managing this volume requires systems that scale effectively. The complexity is equally challenging. Graduate work involves understanding how ideas connect across disciplines, how theories evolve over time, and how evidence supports or contradicts various positions. Your notes must capture these relationships, not just isolated facts. The duration of your note-taking system is another crucial consideration. Unlike undergraduate notes that might be discarded after final exams, your graduate notes form the foundation of your professional expertise. You need to be able to retrieve insights from papers you read in your first year when you are writing your dissertation 3 years later. Finally, the purpose shifts from comprehension to creation. Your notes must support not just understanding, but the generation of original contributions to your field. The Cornell method, developed at Cornell University in the 1950s, remains remarkably effective when adapted for graduate work. The traditional format divides your page into 3 sections. The large note-taking area on the right captures main content during lectures or reading. The narrow Q column on the left is filled in afterward with questions, keywords, and connections that help you review and retrieve information. The summary section at the bottom forces you to synthesize the material in your own words. For graduate-level application, I recommend enhancing this classic format with 2 additions. First, add a citation section at the top of each page that includes full bibliographic information and the specific page numbers for any quotes or key ideas. This saves enormous time when you later need to properly cite sources in your writing. Second, add a link section where you note connections to other sources, your own ideas, or questions for further exploration. This transforms your notes from isolated records into nodes in a growing knowledge network. The Cornell method is particularly effective for seminars and lectures where you need to capture content in real time while also reflecting on its significance. The Zettelkasten method, which translates from German as slipbox, was famously used by sociologist Niklas Luhmann to produce over 70 books and hundreds of articles. This system has experienced a renaissance among academics and researchers seeking better ways to manage complex knowledge. The core principle is atomic notes, meaning each note captures exactly one idea and is expressed in your own words. This differs from collecting quotations or summarizing entire articles. When you read something insightful, you extract the single idea and write a permanent note explaining it as you understand it. The power of Zettelkasten comes from linking. Each note includes explicit connections to other related notes in your system. Over time, you build a network of ideas where any entry point can lead you through chains of associated concepts. This mirrors how creative insight actually works, through unexpected connections between ideas from different contexts. An index or entry point system helps you navigate into your note network. You might have index notes for major themes in your research area that point to clusters of related permanent notes. While Zettelkasten requires more upfront effort than simple note-taking, it pays enormous dividends for long-term research projects and dissertation writing. Mind mapping offers a powerful visual approach to note-taking that leverages spatial memory and reveals conceptual relationships. This method is particularly valuable for graduate students working with complex theoretical frameworks or trying to understand how multiple variables interact. Start with your central concept in the middle of the page. This might be a theory you are studying, a research question you are exploring, or a topic you are preparing to write about. Draw primary branches for each major theme or component. These radiate out from the center, creating a visual hierarchy. Secondary branches capture details, evidence, examples, and qualifications. Use color coding to distinguish different types of content, such as blue for definitions, green for supporting evidence, and red for critiques or limitations. The most valuable feature of mind maps for graduate work is cross-links, lines you draw connecting ideas on different branches. These visible connections often spark insights about relationships you might not notice in linear notes. Mind maps work exceptionally well for synthesizing information from multiple sources. You can create a map for a major concept and add branches as you encounter relevant information in different readings. Digital mind mapping tools like MindNode, XMind, or even simple drawing apps make it easy to expand and reorganize your maps as your understanding deepens. Progressive summarization, developed by productivity expert Tiago Forte, offers a pragmatic approach to note-taking that respects the reality of limited time. Rather than trying to comprehensively process every source when you first encounter it, progressive summarization allows you to invest effort proportional to how valuable the material proves to be. In Layer 1, you simply capture the original material. This might mean saving an article to your reference manager, copying key sections into your notes, or bookmarking important passages. The investment is minimal, just enough to ensure you can find the material again. Layer 2 involves your first pass through the material. You bold or highlight passages that seem important. This takes relatively little time but begins the compression process. Layer 3 happens when you return to notes that are proving relevant to your work. Within the already bolded passages, you highlight the truly essential elements. Now the most critical information visually stands out. Layer 4 creates an executive summary at the top of your notes, written entirely in your own words. This represents your synthesized understanding and is what you will typically reference in your own writing. The beauty of this system is that most sources never progress beyond layer 1 or 2. You only invest significant processing effort in material that proves genuinely valuable to your work. The outline method uses hierarchical structure to organize information in a way that mirrors how academic arguments are constructed. This approach is particularly effective for taking notes on well-organized lectures, textbooks, or research articles with clear logical structure. The traditional outline uses Roman numerals for major sections or main arguments, capital letters for supporting points, numbers for specific details or evidence, and lowercase letters for examples or elaboration. This visual hierarchy immediately communicates the relationship between ideas and their relative importance. For graduate work, the outline method excels when you are studying systematic content like research methodology, theoretical frameworks with defined components, or policy analysis with multiple criteria. The structure helps you understand not just what the author is arguing, but how the argument is constructed. However, the outline method has limitations for graduate work. It works less well for exploratory reading, where you do not yet know how ideas relate to each other, for interdisciplinary work where you need to connect ideas across different organizing frameworks, or for creative synthesis where you are generating your own novel structures. Many graduate students find the outline method works best in combination with other approaches, using outlines for structured content and more flexible methods for open-ended exploration. Two digital tools have emerged as particularly popular among academics and researchers for knowledge management. Understanding their different approaches helps you choose the right tool for your needs. Notion offers a flexible workspace that combines notes, databases, and project management. Its strength lies in structured information, allowing you to create databases of sources with properties like tags, read status, and relevance ratings. Notion excels for collaborative work and integrates well with other productivity tools. However, Notion stores your data on cloud servers, which raises privacy considerations for sensitive research and requires internet access for full functionality. Obsidian takes a fundamentally different approach, storing all your notes as simple text files on your local computer. This ensures you always own and control your data. Obsidian's linking features support Zettelkasten-style knowledge networks, and its graph view provides a visual representation of connections between your notes. The plugin ecosystem extends functionality for academic work, including citation management and PDF annotation. For graduate students, I recommend considering Obsidian if you value data ownership, offline access, and building long-term knowledge networks. Choose Notion if you need strong collaboration features, database functionality, or prefer a more polished user interface. Many researchers actually use both tools for different purposes. Rome Research and Logseq represent a newer approach to note-taking built around daily notes and block-level referencing. These tools have developed devoted followings among academics who find their distinctive features well suited to research work. Both tools center on daily notes as your primary entry point. Each day you open a new note and simply start writing. This removes the friction of deciding where to put information. As you write, you create links to concepts, sources, or ideas using double brackets. The magic happens with bidirectional links. When you link to a concept, that concept's page automatically shows every other note that links to it. Connections emerge organically without you having to manually maintain an index. Block-level referencing takes this further by allowing you to reference specific paragraphs from any note. This enables precise citation of your own past thoughts and supports building arguments from distributed notes. Rome Research operates entirely in the cloud, offering seamless sync across devices but requiring subscription fees and trusting a startup with your research data. Logseq provides similar functionality as free open-source software that stores files locally on your computer. For graduate students concerned about long-term access to their notes, Logseq's local-first approach offers better guarantees that your knowledge base will remain accessible regardless of what happens to any company. Despite the power of digital tools, analog note-taking retains significant advantages that many graduate students find valuable. Research consistently shows that handwriting promotes deeper cognitive processing than typing. The physical act of forming letters slows you down enough to process ideas rather than transcribing verbatim. This deeper encoding leads to better understanding and retention. Studies have shown that students who take handwritten notes perform better on conceptual questions than those who type notes. Analog notes also provide freedom from digital distraction. When you open your laptop, you face the temptation of email, social media, and endless browsing. A paper notebook offers focused space for thought. This is particularly valuable during seminars or when reading in environments where you want to think deeply without interruption. Spatial memory works differently with physical notes. You often remember where on a page you wrote something or how far through a notebook an idea appears. This embodied memory can help you locate information that would require extensive searching in a digital system. The tactile experience of quality paper and a good pen also affects how we relate to our notes. Many researchers report that analog notes feel more like an extension of their thinking, while digital notes feel more like external storage. Consider using analog methods for initial capture and deep thinking, then selectively transferring key insights into your digital system. Many successful graduate students develop hybrid systems that leverage the advantages of both analog and digital approaches. Rather than choosing one or the other, consider how each medium can serve different purposes in your workflow. Paper works exceptionally well for live capture in lectures and seminars. The focus and depth benefits of handwriting are most valuable when you are processing new information in real time. Paper notebooks also work well for initial reading notes and for sketching conceptual diagrams. Digital systems excel for literature management, where you need to search across hundreds of sources, create links between ideas, and integrate citations into your writing. Most academics find that their primary knowledge base needs to be digital for these practical reasons. The key to hybrid success is establishing a regular digitization workflow. Set aside time weekly to review your handwritten notes and transfer key insights into your digital system. This is not about transcription, but about processing. You select what is worth preserving, rephrase it in your own words, and create links to related content. This review process also reinforces learning. Audio recording can serve as a backup layer, particularly for lectures or interviews. While you should not rely on recordings as your primary notes, they provide a safety net for capturing information you might have missed while writing. Effective lecture note-taking in graduate seminars requires strategies beyond those that served you in undergraduate classes. The stakes are higher, and the expectations for your engagement are different. Preparation is essential. Review assigned readings before class so you understand the context for what the professor will discuss. Arrive with questions about parts of the reading you found confusing or provocative. Your notes should document how the lecture extends, clarifies, or challenges what you read. Listen for structural signposts that indicate what the speaker considers most important. Phrases like "the key point here," "what is really significant," or "the main critique" indicate emphasis. When professors slow down, repeat something, or write on the board, they are highlighting essential content. Capture questions as well as answers. In graduate seminars, much learning happens through discussion and debate. Record not just what the professor says, but what questions students raise, what disagreements emerge, and what remains unresolved. These questions often point toward important tensions in the field. Use a consistent marking system for unclear points that require follow-up. Some students use question marks in margins, others use highlighting. Whatever system you choose, use it consistently so you can quickly identify material that needs clarification. Then actually follow up, whether by reviewing readings, asking the professor, or discussing with classmates. Reading notes for graduate research serve fundamentally different purposes than notes for course content. Your goal is not just understanding, but building a foundation for your own scholarly contribution. Every reading note should begin with complete bibliographic information. Include everything you need for proper citation: authors, year, title, journal or publisher, volume, issue, and page numbers. Also note where you access the source and when. This metadata seems tedious, but saves enormous frustration later when you need to locate or cite sources. Map the author's argument explicitly. State their central thesis in your own words. Identify the main evidence they provide. Note their conclusions and any qualifications they include. This analytical approach deepens your understanding and makes it easier to engage with the source in your own writing. Use direct quotations sparingly and strategically. Copy exact wording only when the specific language matters, when you might want to quote this passage in your own work, or when the idea is complex enough that paraphrasing might lose precision. Always include page numbers with quotes. Most importantly, record your own reactions as you read. What questions does this source raise? What critiques occur to you? How does this connect to other things you have read? These reactions are the raw material for your own scholarly voice. Capturing them in the moment is essential because you will not remember them later. Creating notes is only valuable if you can retrieve relevant information when you need it. A thoughtful tagging system is essential for navigating a growing knowledge base. Develop a consistent taxonomy before your collection grows too large. Decide what categories matter for your work. Common dimensions include topical areas within your field, research methods, theoretical frameworks, and source types. Write down your taxonomy and refer to it when tagging to maintain consistency. Hierarchical tags add specificity without creating endless unique tags. For example, methods/qualitative/interviews lets you retrieve all qualitative sources, all interview-based studies, or just sources using your specific method. Most digital tools support hierarchical tag structures, tag sources along multiple dimensions to enable flexible retrieval. A single source might be tagged for its topic, its method, its theoretical approach, and whether it supports or challenges a particular position. This multi-dimensional tagging lets you find sources through various paths depending on your current need. Schedule periodic reviews of your tagging system. As your research focus evolves, you may need to add new categories, consolidate redundant tags, or reorganize your hierarchy. This maintenance keeps your system useful rather than letting it become cluttered and inconsistent. Some researchers reserve time at the end of each semester for this kind of system maintenance. A literature matrix is a powerful tool for synthesizing research across multiple sources. This approach is particularly valuable when preparing for comprehensive exams, writing literature reviews, or establishing the scholarly context for your dissertation. Create a spreadsheet or table with sources as rows. Include essential bibliographic information plus space for notes. Columns represent themes, variables, or questions relevant to your synthesis. For example, a matrix for reviewing studies on a particular health intervention might have columns for sample size, study design, population characteristics, outcome measures, key findings, and limitations. As you read each source, fill in the relevant cells. This format forces systematic extraction of comparable information across sources. When your matrix grows to include dozens of sources, patterns become visible that would be difficult to detect otherwise. You can identify gaps in the literature, majority and minority positions on contested questions, and how findings vary across different populations or methods. The matrix becomes an invaluable resource for writing. Instead of trying to remember what each of 50 sources said about a particular theme, you can sort and filter your matrix to see all relevant information at once. Many researchers credit the literature matrix with transforming their ability to write sophisticated literature reviews that synthesize rather than simply summarize sources. A weekly review process is essential for transforming raw captures into a valuable knowledge system. Without regular processing, your notes become a graveyard of information you cannot retrieve or use. Schedule a specific time each week for this review. Many academics find Friday afternoons or Sunday evenings work well, creating a natural transition between weeks. Block at least 1 to 2 hours, more during heavy reading periods. Start by processing your inbox, wherever raw captures accumulate. This might include handwritten notes from the week, articles you saved but did not fully process, highlights from readings, or audio recordings that need summarization. The goal is to get everything into your central system. Create permanent notes from the most valuable material. Using your progressive summarization or Zettelkasten approach, distill key insights into well-formed notes that will make sense when you encounter them months later. This is where the real learning happens, as you rephrase ideas in your own words and connect them to what you already know. Strengthen links between ideas by reviewing recent additions and asking what else in your system relates to this insight. Building these connections incrementally is much easier than trying to link everything at once. Finally, identify gaps in your understanding and add potential readings to your list. Your notes should generate questions that point toward what you need to learn next. As you develop your note-taking system, be aware of common pitfalls that undermine effectiveness. Understanding these mistakes helps you avoid them or recognize when you have fallen into problematic patterns. Collecting without processing is perhaps the most common trap. It feels productive to save articles and highlight passages, but if you never return to synthesize this material, you have created a digital filing cabinet you cannot access. The point of notes is not to have them, but to have processed and internalized the ideas they contain. Over-engineering your system is another danger. particularly for those who enjoy productivity tools. You can spend so much time organizing, tagging, and perfecting your system that you have no time left for actual reading and thinking. The best system is one you will actually use consistently, not the theoretically perfect one you never implement. Perfectionism can prevent you from starting at all. Some students wait until they find the perfect tool or perfect method before beginning to build their knowledge base. Meanwhile, they lose months of potential note accumulation. Start with something simple and evolve your system as you learn what works for you. Inconsistency undermines any approach. Switching tools frequently, using different methods for different types of content without intention, or abandoning your system during busy periods all fragment your knowledge base. Commit to your chosen approach for at least one semester before making major changes. Let me offer a practical implementation plan for your first month of building a new note-taking system. This gradual approach helps you develop sustainable habits without becoming overwhelmed. In week 1, make your fundamental tool and method choices. Based on what we have discussed, select your primary note-taking tool and decide on your core methodology. Create basic templates for different note types like reading notes, lecture notes, and permanent notes. Set up your folder structure or linking conventions. Do not try to do everything at once, just establish the foundation. Week 2 focuses on application. Use your new system for all readings and lectures that week. Do not worry about migrating old notes yet. Just build the habit of using your chosen approach. You will quickly discover what works and what feels awkward. Note these observations, but resist the urge to overhaul your system immediately. In week 3, develop your tagging taxonomy based on what you learned from actual use. Create a reference document listing your tags and their meanings. Apply tags consistently to notes you have already created and to new captures. Week 4 brings your first weekly review. Process any backlog, create permanent notes from highlights, and reflect on how the system is working. Make modest refinements based on your experience. At the end of this first month, you will have a functional system and a much clearer sense of how you want to evolve it. Let us consolidate the essential lessons from today's exploration of note-taking systems for graduate students. First, choose methods that match your graduate level needs. You are no longer just studying for exams, but building a knowledge base that will support research and professional practice for years. Select approaches like Zettelkasten, progressive summarization, or literature matrices that support this long-term goal. Second, build systems that support retrieval, not just capture. Notes have value only when you can find and use them later. Invest in consistent tagging, meaningful links between ideas, and regular processing of raw captures into well-formed notes. Third, combine digital and analog strategically. Use handwriting for deep processing and focused attention. Use digital tools for search, linking, and integration with your writing workflow. Develop clear practices for transferring insights between media. Finally, start simple and iterate based on experience. Do not let the pursuit of the perfect system prevent you from starting. Choose a reasonable approach, commit to it for a semester, and refine based on what you learn about your own needs. Your note-taking system is a crucial part of your scholarly infrastructure. The time you invest in building it well will pay dividends throughout your graduate career and beyond. In our next session, we will explore managing your reference library with tools like Zotero, Mendeley, and EndNote, which complement the note-taking practices we discussed today. Writing the thesis is a marathon, not a sprint, but you do not have to run it alone. If you are feeling stuck with your data or overwhelmed by your sources, let us help. Head over to subthesis.com. It is completely free and designed to make your life easier. You are making progress. Keep going. And don't forget to subscribe for more support.